From a small island in northwestern Europe to ruling over a quarter of the world's landmass, this is the story of one of the most powerful empires in human history. The British Empire was an empire where the sun never set, stretching across continents, shaping economies, cultures, and nations in ways that are still evident today. But how did this empire rise to power? What were its key milestones? And what led to its eventual decline? Welcome to Knowledge World, where we take you on an incredible journey through the history of the British Empire, its triumphs, its challenges, and its enduring impact on the world. The birth of an empire. The story of the British Empire begins in the late 16th and early 17th centuries. While Spain and Portugal had already established vast empires in the Americas, England was still a relatively minor player in global affairs. However, a series of events changed the course of British history forever. Early explorations and the age of navigation. In the late 1500s, English explorers such as Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh set out to challenge Spanish dominance on the seas. Queen Elizabeth I granted charters to companies like the East India Company, 1600, to explore and trade with distant lands. The first British colonies were established in North America, with Jamestown, 1607, being the first permanent settlement. The role of the East India Company. The East India Company was crucial in expanding British influence, especially in India. British traders initially focused on spices, textiles, and precious metals, but soon became politically involved in Indian affairs. The Battle of Plassey, 1757, led by Robert Clive, marked the beginning of British territorial control in India. The expansion of the empire. From the 18th century onwards, Britain aggressively expanded its territories through military conquest, diplomacy, and economic control. The empire was built on trade, war, and colonization, making Britain one of the most influential global powers. The American colonies and the loss of the First Empire. By the mid-18th century, Britain controlled 13 colonies along the North American East Coast. However, tensions rose over taxation and representation, leading to the American Revolution, 1775 to 1783. The loss of America in 1783 was a significant setback, but Britain soon turned its focus elsewhere. The British Raj and the jewel in the crown. India was often called the jewel in the crown of the British Empire due to its vast resources. After the Indian Rebellion of 1857, the British Crown officially took control, marking the beginning of the British Raj, 1858 to 1947. Railways, telegraph lines, and modern administration were introduced, but British policies also led to famines and economic exploitation. Britain acquired Egypt, Africa, and the Scramble for colonies. The late 19th century saw the Scramble for Africa, where European powers divided the continent. Britain acquired Egypt, Sudan, South Africa, Nigeria, and more, exploiting resources and establishing dominance. Cecil Rhodes played a key role in expanding British rule across southern Africa, envisioning a British-controlled railway from Cairo to Cape Town. The peak of British power. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the British Empire had reached its peak. It ruled over 25% of the world's land and people, influencing cultures, economies, and governance systems. The Victorian Era and Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution, 1750 to 1850, gave Britain an economic advantage, allowing for large-scale manufacturing and global trade. British cities became the heart of commerce, exporting cotton, coal, and iron worldwide. British rule in Australia and Canada. Australia was initially a penal colony but grew into a prosperous British territory. Canada became a British colony after conflicts with the French, later evolving into a self-governing nation under British influence. The decline of the empire. No empire lasts forever. The two world wars, economic challenges, and nationalist movements led to the gradual decline of British rule. World wars and their impact. World War II, 1939 to 1945, further drained resources, making it difficult to maintain global dominance. Independence movements and decolonization. India gained independence in 1947, followed by Pakistan. Throughout the 1950s, 70s African and Caribbean nations also gained independence. The legacy of the British Empire. Though the empire no longer exists, its legacy remains. The English language, legal systems, parliamentary governance, and global trade structures were all shaped by British rule. The British Empire was one of history's most influential forces, shaping the modern world in profound ways. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Knowledge World for more historical insights.